now available in paperback and e-readers. Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other two books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online bookstores everywhere today. After reading about the incredibly low ratings for the Oscars, I decided to read about the movie that won Best Picture for 2020, Nomadland. And after reading about the premise for Nomadland, I can understand why Hollywood is having a hard time getting people to watch the Oscars or any of their movies. Now, as a screenwriter with over a decade of experience writing screenplays, I can tell you what's wrong with Nomadland and many of Hollywood's movies right now. And it all boils down to one question us screenwriters are supposed to answer in before we even put our fingers to the keyboard. And that question we're supposed to answer is, why should we care? And if you can't really answer that question in a way that appeals to the audience, you're not going to get an audience to have an incentive to go out here and watch your films. And Hollywood seems like it doesn't want to answer the question, why should we care? Because many of these people who are in Hollywood are detached from reality, and because they're detached from reality, they don't really care what the audience wants. All they want to do is push their own personal agendas and create their own vanity projects that appeal to their ego. So they've practically forgotten the audience, and because they've forgotten the audience, they have made one major critical mistake. And that critical mistake is selling the audience a problem and thinking that the audience is going to pay to listen to people complain about a problem. Now, as a writer and a publisher and a screenwriter, I know the first thing I would never do when I'm creating a project is sell people a problem, because most people out here already have enough problems, and with a pandemic going on, we have half the country that is unemployed. We have people worried about whether they're going to have a place to stay or food to eat. And here we have a celebrity during a pandemic when people are out of work, worrying about how they're going to feed themselves or even have a place to stay. And here you are wanting to go and bring me a problem. That's not something any good entertainment producer or content producer does. No, any good entertainment producer or content producer is not going to bring you a problem because you already have enough problems. No, any good content producer is going to try to either solve your problems or give you an escape from your problems so that you can take a breather from your troubles and have a minute to relax. And that's what the old Hollywood used to do. They understood that people already have a lot of problems in their lives. They already have a hard day at a job when they had jobs. And many women out here who are taking care of kids already have a lot of stresses as related to taking care of their kids. So they wanted to go to a movie to have a 2-hour break to get away from their problems with their job, to get away from their problems with their kids, and the kids just wanted a break where they could just sit there and watch some characters that they read in a comic book or watched on a TV show come to life on the silver screen or the television screen. So people were looking for a break from their lives. Unfortunately, today's Hollywood is so caught up in social justice, all they think about is giving you one problem after the next, and nobody cares about problems, and even more worse so, paying to see more problems. Why should a customer go out here and spend $15 on a movie ticket to hear somebody tell them more about problems when they can go watch problems on the 6 o'clock news for free? That's the critical question I would like to ask many of these so called woke social justice pushing Hollywood executives, because the answer to that question will tell you why you're not making any money right now in the movies, on television, and in markets for publications like comic books and novels. Because when you bring people problems, they have no incentive to buy your product because they're not really interested in hearing about another problem. And when you look at many of the movies that Hollywood has been pushing over the last year, movies like Your Nomadland and many of the other movies that they nominated, all you did was bring people problems, and they are already dealing with problems as related to COVID 19. And even before COVID 19, many average everyday Americans who were living paycheck to paycheck, they really didn't want to hear about another problem. But Hollywood's people on the left, they just keep thinking, oh, I can sit here and preach about this problem because I'm aware of it. Well, duh, we've already heard about that problem, the average everyday man and everyday woman, and we don't want to hear about this problem anymore. If anything, we're looking for a solution, and that's what any good nonfiction writer like myself does when we write a book like Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, or we go out here and write a book like The Man Crisis. When I write books like that, it's not just to say, oh, there's a problem, but it is also there to address a solution, because people are not buying The Man Crisis or Why 70% of Black Women Are Single to hear about the problem. No, they buy the book because they want to get a solution that will help them enrich their lives. And when it comes down to entertainment, on the fiction side, people are also looking for a solution, and they're looking for a solution in their escape. So when I go out here and I write a book like an ISIS series book, or an E-Steam series book, or a John Haynes series book, I'm always looking to offer people a solution in the escape, because I know that people identify with and relate to certain characters, and because they identify with and relate to certain characters, they are looking for some sort of solution to their problems in their lives, or an inspiration that will inspire them to aspire to be something in their life. So they're looking for something in that escape, and that's what people aren't getting in today's Hollywood entertainment. And because they're not getting any sort of solutions or any sort of escape, that's why they're not watching movies anymore. That's why they're not watching TV anymore. That's why they're not buying novels and comic books from mainstream publishers and going out here and buying independent books from publishers like myself, because they want that escape in their fantasy. They want their solution in their nonfiction. They want a solution in their fiction, and they want to take a break from their lives, and they want somebody to not give them a problem because they've already got enough problems as it is, and they don't need some two-bit celebrity who lives in a mansion thousands of miles away to sit there and tell them, oh, there's another problem going on in the world. Well, I've already got enough problems as it is here with my job that I don't know if I'm going to have. Before the pandemic, and right now, most people don't know if they'll ever be able to get another job. And most people don't know whether their bills are going to be paid or whether they're going to have enough food. They don't really want to hear you sitting here telling them about the climate, telling them about the environment. They don't really want to hear this type of stuff. No, what they want to see is attractive people having fun and fantastic adventures for 2 hours, or having a slice of life where they can get a laugh or have something to smile about. That's how Hollywood used to make people's day, but instead of giving us that type of content that makes people's day, they want to go out here and make you more miserable. And again, when you make people miserable, they have no incentive to spend money with you because you're sitting there giving them another problem. And why, and again, why should I pay for somebody to tell me about problems when I've already got people telling me about problems for free in my home with the children and the wife? And why should I also pay for you to tell me about more problems when I can watch those same people who are news reporters tell me about problems on the 6 o'clock news for free? So your Hollywood, many of the people there, they are just detached from reality. They don't understand that people don't want to hear about problems. They don't want to hear about you telling me about this social justice and these other things that are going on. No, people just want to be entertained for 2 hours at a movie. They want to be entertained for 30 minutes on a TV sitcom. They want to laugh for half an hour. They want a drama where they can just see the bad guys lose, the hot guy get the girl, and that's what people want. They want to be able to again get away from their problems for a while, but your modern day Hollywood doesn't understand this, and they sit there and think that they have to create a soapbox to preach to people, but people want to be entertained, and if you don't give them entertainment, they go to alternative platforms like the SJS Direct Imprint and many of these other indie comic creators and YouTubers out here because they want content that will give them what they want. And in an era of streaming and on demand, people will go out here and go and get the content they want from independent producers if Hollywood won't produce that content. So your Hollywood types, they sit there in their mansions and disconnected and detached from reality, thinking that they're so woke, but they don't really understand that people aren't interested in all of these, you preaching to them when you don't practice what you preached. And that's what we saw at the Oscars at 2021, where all of these people pushed out all these homeless people in front of this venue to have their award show. And then the great irony was you're talking about this Nomadland movie that you gave a Best Picture Oscar to and Best Director to, but you went out here and didn't ever lift a finger to any of those homeless people in real life to help them. No, you made a movie about this woman who was drifting from place to place, but you never once lifted a finger to help a single one of those drifters or those homeless people who were struggling out there. And that is, again, the ultimate middle finger at the American people. You sit there and want to celebrate yourself, but you don't want to, again, give people what they want, whether it be at the theaters, the TV, or in publications. You don't want to give anybody what they want. You want to push your agendas down people's throats, but people don't want to hear this stuff because, again, when you give people a problem, people already have enough of those, and what they're looking for is that escape or that solution. And if you don't give them those things, they just go elsewhere to get them. And that's why your Hollywood is in decline, because it just doesn't want to listen to the customer and give the customer exactly what it wants. But I, the publisher of SJS Direct, I'll be glad to give you exactly what you want. And if you want to pick up the books on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, all of those books are on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format, and a lot of those books are fun. And when it comes down to the nonfiction, I offer a lot of other great titles, like The Man Crisis, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single and Stop Simping, that help people transform their lives, because I want to give you a solution and not give you another problem. And if you want to see me make more classic videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.